So calling the wave, or like the calling of the water, I think.
Ho'opai it's called. So that means slap the water, call the mama, the wave.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Vertical Time Podcast, a podcast dedicated to Lomi tools for healing. Across the pond, I meet Kahuna Harry Ohana Jim to discuss concepts of the Hawaiian world that help us align, if only for a split second, with vertical time. Or to be honest, I just hang out with Harry while he blows up my mind. Okay, so in this episode, we're gonna talk about calling the wave, and it's a really, really big topic. I think it's a really nice episode we've worked on. So thank you for being here. Diving into this meaning and genuinely working with this idea and image of calling the wave, I think it can really benefit your work as a therapist or a healer or just a person. So I have this crazy idea of putting all of Harry's knowledge in a book and in German on top of everything. And it's one of the first things I stumble upon, calling the wave. So I quickly want to share with you what it says in Harry's book he wrote with Garnet Arledge. The book is called Wise Secrets of Aloha. It says, Ho'opaipai O Kenalu, call the wave. It is both a surrender to the mighty ocean and a command flying gloriously over it, calling in the perfect wave for surfing. Ho'opaipai O Kenalu, show up perfect wave please. So I can meet you, so I can receive you. This is sort of where we start, discussing this aspect and why it's so important. And I kind of ask Harry, what do you think is the placement of this in this whole body of knowledge? I feel like it's really important. And and I ask him, what is this placement of this perhaps in the German book, and what does it mean?
I want to kind of take a second and return to the first sentence you said, which was calling the water.
Yeah, the calling of the water. Yeah.
The calling of the wave.
Yeah.
And I called to Moana, the goddess. That is the thing that needs to be, like, one of the markers. It's called calling and feeding.
Calling and feeding?
Yeah. It is the critical, iconic idea in the Hawaiian culture where all things are called and fed to source, which is, if you're raising a pig, you will call it every morning and feed it. If I'm raising a dog, I will call it every morning and feed it. And when it's about surfing, you will call the wave and feed it. And you will call grace from the wave. From Moana is the mother of the water. And so calling it, asking it to participate in your experience, and reversing that, which is gratitude. We feed the pig food, we feed the wave gratitude. When people get that in terms of touch, where they're calling their receivers' energy to participate in responding to a healing, and you're feeding it some. We feed attention in German. The Hawaiian is giving you an opportunity to feed gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
That changes the whole context of the surface of the service that you're providing. It becomes so engaging by participating in this calling and feeding. I think it returns to that idea that the difference between most cultures on the planet is that we all live in a horizontal field where everything is projected one step after the next, yeah, as in time. Hawaiian says, no, there's another way of seeing it. That's vertical time. That's the connection to your soul and to be able to walk through both the experience of the surf as well as the experience of spiritually calling for an abundant energy to serve the experience of being grateful.
Is that what is expressed in the in that, what is it, a rune, that sign, the sort of
The gib, the three spot, is the calling of the grace and the receiving of the home that grace creates, the safety, the context of absolute stability.
where is that from?
It actually is this the glyph that was used to define the school. The school had a structural place of maybe 9 or 11 people sitting on the beach, and the chalkboard was a stick in the sand. And that particular symbol was never expressed in chisel or in rock.
Mhm.
It was expressed from one person to the next, so it was only expressed by design. It was never expressed in any form of tapa or print. And so it is a school signature of healing,
Okay.
present and defined by the energies of grace, receiving gratitude.
Right.
It's the best I can do for English.
I'll see what I can do for German.
Yeah,
Given that.
and so that there is a counter currency occurring. That's why the wave comes to the surfer.
A counter currency.
Yeah, the currency of grace, receiving gratitude, returning grace, receiving gratitude. Counter currency,
Right.
two expressions moving in the same line. This is the same thing that grows the relationship you have with a pig. If you're raising a pig, if you're a farmer raising corn, it's the same context of the commune of energy between the two is the absolute joy of Mother Earth herself.
Is this why you describe kahunas being of the element of water? Because this is something I stumbled upon.
There is a study of the element of water in the specialism of kahuna, but there's also a study in the element of wind. There's a study in the element of electricity, but it is in the nature of its relationship with the human soul. When we dance to the honor of the nature that we see around us, the nature responds to us. When I dance to the intention of gratitude upon touching your elbow, the elbow responds to me, because there is nothing more particularly unique than the expression of human touch. It ignites your mind. And when you do that in rhythm, that's Lomi. When you call and feed that energy into manifestation, that's healing.
Yeah, human touch is critical. And yet so much can happen without it.
It still is the human touch, I promise. It is the mind of the human is absolutely capable, and only species capable of creating from abstract. Most of the demons on the planet are imaginary, but they have just as much evidence of potency as the real ones.
I'm imploding again.
Let's make it really simple. Did you know that someone can just in thought from another dimension keep nagging at you? Right? On Earth, that experience is about a mosquito taking a drop of your blood. So on Earth, the demon is the mosquito. The other one's imaginary. How does that work with you when you're healing, when two people are in the connection of the imaginary flow of grace, receiving gratitude? The healing is definitely changing the nature of the physical world, and the body is responding to being supported, because there's nothing more potent than the attention of a human. It's an incredible thing from all other perspectives, except our own. Yeah, there is a need, of course. What I'm trying to say is there is a need, of course, to pick up the specific technical skills that are engaged in this body of knowledge. That's true. But the real exercise is the expansion of you observing healing occurring. That's Loming. Your expanded ability to notice and engage by thought and touch, rejuvenation of the human body. Really, really happening.
I keep thinking back to that moment in my last ayahuasca ceremony where I'm sure I had never seen something like that before, but I am sure that I saw some kind of a demon going in another person. And I keep going back to that moment and wonder whether this is what it would have needed, the human touch. Whether this is protection from real negativity.
Human thought is capable of both directions, but the human engaged in the human soul is only engaged in converting negative to positive. So while you take that moment of urgency and notice that something is entering a body, really notice that that's not the last chapter, that's the first chapter. They will exalt and extract negative.
Yeah, and it did. It is what happened.
It's what happened.
Yeah.
Was it was it the right expression to be in vulnerability? You know, we're doing the ayahuasca to break pattern. You have to take vulnerability as part of the risk to break a pattern. Because keeping a pattern is where the risk doesn't exist, just simple death. You know what I mean? Bang it till it's dead. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really. So yeah, there is risk, but the greater risk is to be afraid of it. I don't know when I figured this out, but it probably is during the pandemic, is that the whole world is going to get so exhausted from information. They're going to just give up and go into just what frequency works for them. And so I want to be there when they ask, how do you do what you do? It's like, okay, here's how. It's connected to the stories I have to say. And I think that's got a huge curiosity.
Yeah, and it prevails. I think it really does. Like now, because I've done it so much, and now whenever I ask for help, whenever I ask, it's there. This whole everything. It's a space that's prevailed, and it's prevailed more than any knowledge I've ever had.
Yeah, because I presented as a choice in the matrix, but the matrix was there already. So just like you, when you get a lot of people learning your teaching, they'll think, I want to talk to her, right? And what happens is the world turns that into your own information. The frequency of Kahilani, the Aztec records, all knowledge.
What is it in Hawaiian? Can you say that?
Kahilani. And Kahilani is an actual substantive spherical layer of energy known as that purple haze between all of darkness and the reflection of earth from the sun. So especially in Hawaii, you can see that the spectrum turns from kind of a bright violet into deepest nothing. The bright violet is the Kahilani, the actual substantive records of all that's been on this planet.
So it's the color of the earth, really, right?
That's the defined space where the etherical energy actually exists. not for the entire universe, but for Mother herself, the earth, all things that has ever been and ever is in that context. So when I ask for help, what's given to me is access to that remembering of how to get through where you are, whatever information you need. Mostly frequency.
I think
Mostly frequency. Yeah. And the frequency is, in the simplest of language, grace, unmerited favor, received, and gratitude extended. So this isn't a hack. This is like how it goes. You know what I mean? Because we're looking for that easy way out. It isn't. It's very difficult to call it attention, your attention. And fact, truth is, nothing happens till you call your attention to attention. So it's a really nice time to do that when you first start the treatment, is to call your attention, inattention, ask for the help, and have service as your forefront of purpose, especially since you're, opening the door of vulnerability. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I did it today too. And it's like, oh my God.
Especially the acupuncturist who has such a protocol directed approach. Then now all of a sudden we throw all that away and we just go for what's next.
Because acupuncture has become very mechanical.
You have that mechanical structure that's very supportive of the outcome. And then you have this approach, which is, no, I'm just going to take a breath, follow the breath of my client, and move with the water and keep staying in the, and because I don't know what I'm doing, I'll ask for help.
You never think, or you never like.
Not really. Yeah. It's still the movement of your thought in rhythm with your feelings.
But if there's like any symptoms, you don't address that consciously.
You're totally addressing it consciously. You're not disaware for sure. I just kind of want to express how, I guess at this juncture, when I'm working, there's two other guys there, the 7-year-old of me and the 90-year-old of me. And the 90-year-old of me has seen it all. It's covered all corners. It's the 7-year-old that presents the animation of vitality. But if I get a tap on my head going like, maybe you should talk about this kind of like loose tissue under the skin on the left shoulder, it might be smart. In other words, the Kinaoli is happening at all times. The right thing at the right time for the right reason is happening when I'm doing the right thing, which is discovering what's happening in that corner, right shoulder, wherever it is, finding out how it feels. Of course, I've felt it many times from other people, to the child and to the old man that's with me. They've never seen this. I'm the paradox is what I'm trying to express. And as I embrace what I have, all the help comes.
Yeah, that's grand.
It is grand, and it's what you've experienced, I'm sure. That's why it's so ineffable. It happens because of your attention, not your articulation. It's a huge difference. That there are clients in your world that'll come to you because your clients come to your service to expand you. They basically, that's why they're there. But there will be clients who can only receive protocol treatment. And then there'll be some men who show up and they can only receive intuitive release. And will you know the difference? Only if you ask for help. You only need 1 split second of a vertical to have a whole horizontal experience.
Yeah.
But that 1 split second sends you to the Kinaoli, being at the right place at the right time. Yeah. Doing the right thing for the right person the first time. Yeah.
So calling the wave, or like the calling of the water, I think.
O Pai Pai, it's called. So that means slap the water, call the mama, the wave.
grace receiving gratitude.
And the power is in attention. It is not in articulation.
So that was it for today. Thank you so much, Harry, for today's session, for shedding light onto the Ho'opai image and declaration. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Vertical Time podcast. And yeah, you can check out our website and check out how you can support us and Harry's work. And yeah, I'll see you next time around. Bye.